Well, my friends, there I was enjoying a nice glass of wine, eating dinner, and the next goddamn Halo game leaks. We are finally on the road to Halo 7, but it's actually not Halo 7. Oh my god, I actually genuinely, you can probably hear it in my voice, I can't believe that this is the next Halo game. The next Halo game is a remake of Halo 1. I literally made a video like a year ago asking for this exact thing. I hand on heart, genuinely, I'm saying this with all sincerity, that video was not made with any knowledge. I had no idea that this was a thing, and I made that video, but we need to dive into the details because holy hell, this is actually happening. The next era of Halo is beginning now. So, where did this all come from? Well, an individual by the name of Tom Warren, who you can see on the screen right now, who's a big guy over at Verge, big journalist over at Verge, a very reputable guy, has been in the industry for a long time, I believe has leaked quite a lot of stuff before. This is no first leak for him. He has recently put out an email to the subscribers of his Notepad service, which I paid for to get this information, about Xbox's what is called Project Latitude, which is basically the internal name at Xbox for kind of porting and moving a lot of their IPs to other platforms, but specifically to PlayStation, right? You're probably thinking this leak is fake and that I'm doing April Fool's Day again 2 months late. This is real. This is very, very real. Tom does not make stuff up, I can tell you that for sure. So this email is a long email all about Project Latitude and the games that they're going to be doing for it and their plans in the future. And then we get to good old-fashioned Halo, in which he says, one game that is being considered for release on PS5 is Halo. Though sources tell me that Microsoft is working on some form of a Halo Combat Evolved remaster that is also being considered for rival consoles. I don't expect Microsoft to announce this during the showcase, as it's still early days for this remaster. So, a lot to process there. The next Halo game is more than likely going to be a Halo 1, he says remaster, but I think remake personally, we'll get to why in a second, that's launching on not just Xbox and PC, but PlayStation as well, right? I know a lot of people are very down for that. There are some people that aren't down for Halo on PlayStation. Personally, myself speaking, I think that is going to be a watershed moment for the franchise. Just like Halo going to PC was a watershed moment, Halo going to PS5 is arguably even more of a watershed moment. And what better way to start the PlayStation fans' Halo journey off than with a remake of Halo 1. Now, remakes, of course, as I've spoken about, God knows how much over the last year or multiple years, have been a very hot topic in the industry recently because, well, primarily Resident Evil. Resident Evil has essentially revived itself and brought itself into a second golden age thanks to remakes. The remake of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 in particular were nothing short of video game masterpieces. So this is absolutely massive for obvious reasons that I feel like I don't even need to go into, but let's talk about some of the details now. So I said it's likely going to be a remake and not a remaster like Tom said. The reason for that is, well, twofold. Firstly, we've already had a Halo 1 remaster, and let's call a spade, it was shit, right? We don't like Halo 1 Anniversary. It was a good first effort, but, well, no, it actually kind of wasn't because it looks nothing like Halo 1. The atmosphere, the mood, the art style, all completely wrong. No bueno, that is not a remaster that I don't think most people like, to be honest with you. I exclusively play Halo 1 in classic graphics to this day because I don't want Halo 1 to look like Halo Reach. I want Halo 1 to look like Halo 1, right? And the second reason, I said twofold, is that I imagine that this is going to be their first or one of their first projects on Unreal Engine 5. This is another leak that's been floating for a few years. Personally, I've always believed it to be 100% true. Don't ask why, I just have this kind of, you know when Spider-Man gets his Spidey senses tingling? Well, my Mjolnir senses are tingling, right? My Flood senses are tingling. I always thought that was a very accurate leak, and I would imagine that this is going to be the first project on that. And can you just, for a second, I want you to close your eyes right now and just think for 1 second of a Halo 1, an authentically remade Halo 1 with Halo 1's aesthetic in Unreal Engine with that engine's lighting and graphical potential. Can you just keep your eyes closed, right? I'm going to close them with you. Just think about that. Think about looking down into the chasm of the silent cartographer. Think about walking through the ravines of Assault in the Control Room. Think about going into the swamps of 343 Guilty Spark with the lighting and the graphical fidelity of that engine. Good lord. Good lord. You know what? That requires a drink of wine. Good lord. Also, with it being a remake, I'm going to make a full video about this next week that goes into much more detail, but I mean, the potential of a Halo 1 remake that has like modern day dev resources dedicated to it, right? Think about what they could do with that. There were a ton of cut levels in Halo 1's campaign that they could bring back. There's so much surrounding material from like The Flood, for example, and First Strike that they could integrate into the games. How long have we as Halo fans been asking for 343 or any studio to turn games into books, or to integrate elements of the games into playable sections in books? This could literally be the project that does that. There is infinite potential with this. Like, it very much intended to say infinite. There's so much stuff they could do here. It being on PS5 as well, oh my god, that is like the best way to open up Halo. If it's done right, of course, there is a big caveat here. It has to be done right, but I think because Halo 1 has already had a god-awful remake, or sorry, god-awful remaster, I think that whatever team, whether it's 343 or Certain Affinity maybe are doing this, whoever's doing it, they will know that they can't fuck up Halo 1 twice, right? I mean, we've said that before with other things, but they can't. They would know that they can't. I would always say to temper your expectations, obviously, but just, okay, right. If I were you, how I'm sat right now, how I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. I know I'm probably going to get roasted for saying that. I am. However, I think that with the new management and with the new direction of the studio, and with the fact that the studio is basically, for all intents and purposes, name aside, a completely different studio to the one that made Infinite, I think this is a great project to start on, because it will root a lot of the new 343 in the very fundamentals of Halo. I think it will remind them of what Bungie did so well with the franchise and how they can kind of capitalize on that in the modern day, and also, more importantly, build off that in the modern day. I'm probably just waffling now, but good God, I am unbelievably excited for this. When I made that video last year, like, when I was writing it, I remember thinking, like, oh my god, I shouldn't hype myself up this, because it's not going to happen. Like, why would they remake Halo 1 twice? But they are. They actually are. There will be some people that will say, like, oh, well, maybe this leak is fake. And if it was coming from, like, some random person on Twitter or something, I'd say, yeah, it probably is. But it's coming from someone like Tom Warren, who would not just put random stuff out for the sake of it. Like, there's being, like, a leaker, and then there's being a journalist with a reputation who also occasionally leaks stuff. The two are very different, and Tom is very much in the journalist with a reputation part of that, right? So I think this is legit. If I had to guess release date, I would say, I want to be optimistic and say next year, but earlier. There's a Twitter account called Technical Halo who's had a lot of, like, semi-leaked stuff in the past that has been weirdly accurate. The guy obviously has sources somewhere, and he said 2026 earlier, so I would guess 2026. When? I don't know. Resident Evil always released their remakes early in the year, and so did Dead Space as well. But then I think the Silent Hill remake is releasing in typical video game release window later this year, so who knows? But oh my god, I'm going to make a video in more depth over the next few days about this. Going into real raw detail, because there is so much that I need to talk about, as I'm sure you can imagine. I'm going to round this video out here. You know what? Give me 1 sec. Okay, I just had to do a quick scroll to see if I missed anything. I did not miss anything. There's barely any details out yet, but now that the floodgates have been opened for this, I'm sure that something else will come out soon. I want to talk about this more. I want to know more. I am very excited. Of course, element of cautiousness in here, because we've been burnt every single time 343 have released a game. We've been burnt, so just have some caution. But at the same time, this is the time that I think Halo fans can deservedly have a degree of optimism and hope. This is what we needed. Halo fans needed a light at the end of the tunnel beyond Infinite. Dwelling on Infinite for God knows how long would have been detrimental to, I think, all of our mental healths. So I'm very, very happy that, oh my god, man. Halo 1 remake, baby! Let's go! Okay, right, I'm gonna round this video right here. Thank you all for watching. I will see you for my stream on Sunday, and then maybe early next week, maybe sooner than that, maybe a little bit later. I don't know. I will have a deep video talking about the potential of this game. I am so excited. I will catch you all in the stream on Sunday.